Lost Ark have just revealed that there will be a March update with new content in it, as well as addressing some of the top issues, which we'll talk about in this video. To start off, they've said that there will be a steady cadence of content, of course starting this March, as they work closely together with Smilegate to infuse content into the Western version from the original Korean version. They've also said that there will be a roadmap coming soon, which will show the next few months worth of content. One of the biggest things in the update is a new story episode, which includes an entire storyline, as well as its own quests, new islands, cinematic moments, and also returning characters as we go on our journey to find the final arc. In order to do this new story content, players will have had to already complete Phaeton alongside completing the following quests that you can see on the screen now. Essentially, this new episode is a continuation of where you would have left off if you've already reached basically tier 3, and they do recommend that you be item level 1100. They're also adding in a new type of content called Abyss Raids. This is different from Abyss Dungeons and different from Guardian Raids. It's essentially like a more difficult version of a Guardian Raid where 8 players will go against a boss monster, but it will be bigger, badder, and much more difficult than even the Guardian Raid bosses. Within the fight, there will actually be 3 different distinct phases in which you will have to beat the boss, and with each phase, the Guardian will grow more powerful as more different mechanics are added in and its attack patterns change. Each phase though will also have its own rewards, which you can get once per week, and there will be different item level requirements, so a range of people will be able to play this. They've also addressed that this will not be all of the content in the March update, and we should stay tuned for the full patch notes, which we also have some extra notes that include some of the top issues that they want to fix and make tweaks to. They've let us know that the crystalline aura issues where it was being deactivated is now fixed, so our crystalline auras should be fine. They've also addressed the changes to the login rewards on the EUS server, which is the new server that they just recently added in order to hopefully spread the players out across the EU, since the EU central servers are so heavy on queues. And they've addressed the fact that the login rewards were incorrect when they were full of crystals and crystalline auras, and that they actually weren't intended to be there, and people were redeeming up to 352 days of crystalline aura on their account. So they have since changed this, and they will actually be adding additional rewards on the login attendance throughout March, exclusively on EU West again, as a sort of incentive to get people to go there. I really want to know what you guys have to think on this, because I can say that I'm in too deep on EU Central. I can't move at this point until they let me transfer, which they have officially said isn't going to be a thing for at least a long while, because it's just not an easy option in the infrastructure of the game. So let me know what you think of this whole moving servers and these login rewards to get you to go there. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe down below as well. Let's jump into the rest of the patch notes, where they address the matchmaking issues, which have been a massive problem on these EU servers. They say that there are some changes that's already been put in place to improve the stability, but it's clear that it's not enough. They say that the team is working on a more long-term fix for this problem, and they want us to know that it is a top priority issue for them. They've identified a possible fix and are currently in testing, and will share an ETA on that soon, which is at least hopeful news because matchmaking on EU Central servers has been very, very bad. This is probably one of the biggest things in this whole list to talk about, and that's that Guardian Raids and Abyssal Dungeons are basically going to be scaled down in difficulty for the tier 1 and tier 2 versions of this content. They say that in some instances there's a success rate as low as 10% for players that are doing this content. I think there are two sides of an argument that could be made on this, because on one hand it is really fun content once you know what you're doing. On the other hand, this is tier 1 and tier 2, not the final endgame content, therefore should it be that difficult? And honestly, if only 10% of players are succeeding on certain Guardian Raids or Abyssal Dungeons, then that's just too low, and I think that could be a reason for people quitting, which is not what you want in an MMO. Next, they actually address the gold selling spam that you see in game. They basically said that they've made it so that if you are under level 30, you cannot talk in area chat. You can still participate in group chat with friends and in dungeons and all that kind of stuff, but not in area chat. The idea is that this stops new accounts from being created and immediately spamming. They have said that these gold spammers actually have an average of less than 10 minutes in game before getting banned, but they are still making improvements to anti-cheat and anti-spam tools in order to stop this this further. They've also addressed the fact that downtimes happen at inconvenient times for other regions. Basically on EU it might be in a prime time hour sometimes, and that they will be looking into changing that in the future, but for now they are working on fixing issues as quickly as possible, so it won't change immediately. They've said that they have already drastically improved the store issues that are happening, and that they are working on more improvements to these systems, and that if you are missing any items you might have more success to make them appear by logging into your server during off-peak hours. They also briefly address the EU central queue issues, where they essentially say that they can't really do anything about it because they can't add more servers in due to the complexity of the game systems, but they are working on it. And if you do move to EU West and you previously claimed your Twitch drops before March 8th, then you will get a second set on the EU West server, which is, I guess, a nice incentive. But again, guys, I'm really interested to hear what you have to say on this whole issue with moving servers down in the comments below. And don't forget to check out the other Lost Ark videos on the channel, or the one on the screen now, as we have plenty of tips and guides for you guys that are already on the channel.